Hello everyone, my name is Yoav Vaxman and I'm Professor of Economics at Coastal Carolina University. And in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to run your class using Zoom. An increasing number of professors now have to use video conferencing tools like Zoom, Teams, or Google Meet in order to stream their classes. And I want to give you a demonstration of how Zoom works and how you can use them in a classroom setting. So here we are doing a Zoom meeting. And you can see me on the right and I have a demo student on the left. And the demo student is actually my mobile device. So I logged into the meeting using two different devices. You can see right over here and in front of you. But just to reduce confusion, I'm going to turn off the video for the demo student. So in Zoom, you have several features that you can use in order to communicate with your students. If you look at the bottom of the screen, there's a chat box right over here. And you can click on the chat box. And then you can type a message to everyone. Or you can select a specific individual. So in this case, I'm going to select the demo student. And I'm just going to send the message to that student. Student can also choose to send messages to everyone, or they can just send a message to you. Now, this is very helpful, for example, if students want to ask you a question in private, or also if you have, let's say, a math problem, and you don't want everyone to see the answer, so each student can send you the question or the answer in private. Another feature in Zoom that you can use is what's called non-verbal reaction. You actually have to go into your Zoom account and turn those on. And what you do is you click on participant here at the bottom. And that's going to bring in a bunch of options on the right hand side. And you can see, you can ask the student a question like, how many of you use Zoom? And they can answer by saying yes, no. And there are also other reactions, like the student may ask you to go slower, go faster, or use a coffee symbol to say that they need a break. So these are non-verbal reaction. You have to go into your Zoom account and turn those on in order for everyone to see them. Now, another option that is not a default option in Zoom, but you do able to turn on using your Zoom account, is to create a polls. And if you look at the bottom of the screen, you can see the polls right over here, and I can click on the polls. And there are a couple of polls I already created before this meeting. So one of them is, did you use Zoom before? And I worded this question differently, and I created a question that says, which web conferencing tool do you prefer to use? Zoom, Teams, Meet, and other? And I can launch that poll. And as I'm launching that poll, as a student, I can see the poll appear on my screen, and I can submit my answer. And when the students submit the answer, you can see it immediately. And when the poll ends, you can press on End Poll, and you have the option of sharing that result with the students, and then everyone in the class can see what the results of the polls are. So polls are a great way to get multiple choice questions and kind of make sure that the students are able to follow the material. Some of the other great tools that you can use in Zoom is the whiteboard. And I have an entire tutorial about using the whiteboard, but I want to make sure you understand that anytime you have a Zoom meeting, you can use a whiteboard and you can share any other application on your computer. And you do it by clicking on the share screen button at the bottom. And when you do that, this window will appear, and you have the option of either sharing your whole screen, which means that anything that will show on your computer will also show up at the Zoom meeting, sharing a specific application from the list below, or sharing what's called the whiteboard. So on the whiteboard, which looks like this, you can draw anything you want. You can add text. And you can add a variety of figures. And again, I have a tutorial on how to use a whiteboard. You can also share your entire screen. So for instance, right here, I can look at my Zoom account, which for me at CCU is at ccuchance.zoom.us, but of course you might have a different account. and I can sign into my account, and then I can see all the options that I have for my account. And you can see on the left-hand side, I have all the meetings that I have scheduled and webinars. Any recordings that I have in Zoom will appear over here. My setting will appear right below recording, and this is where you can turn things on and off, such as nonverbal action, or add or take away the pause. And you can also change a variety of settings, like allowing students to change their name, or allowing students or not allowing students to change their virtual background. So a lot of these options are available for you and are under your control through your setting by logging into your um, Zoom account. So I'm going to stop sharing. We're going to be back at the meeting again. Speaking of virtual background, Zoom allows you and your student, if you're given permission, to change the background behind them. So right now, I'm obviously not in San Francisco. I'm actually sitting at my home office, but I can change the background behind me. And if you look at the bottom of the screen, you're going to see what looks like a video camera icon. And you can click right next to it. There's an arrow pointing out, and it's going to ask you to choose a virtual background. And most Zoom accounts come with a variety of backgrounds, like this one. I can be at the beach, but you can also upload your own pictures, like this picture that I have from Ecuador, and you can use those as a background. At the bottom of this window, you have the option to mirror my image, which I usually pick because it means that right on your side is right on the video camera. If you unclick this, your image is going to be reversed, which for me is a little bit confusing. So I'm going to pick to mirror my video. I pick my background, and now you can see when I'm back at the meeting, I have a different background behind me. The advantage of allowing students to pick their own virtual background, it allows them to express themselves, but also it prevents you from seeing their private space, so it provides the privacy that they might want. Students are also able to change their name if you allow them to, which is again in one of your menu options, and they can do that by clicking on top of their picture on the right side, and that's going to bring a drop-down menu, and they can click on rename, and I can change my name into anything I want to, like using my nickname, Yoav, or just using any name I choose. So I could choose to be Captain America. If you're taking attendance in class and have a separate tutorial on how to take attendance using Zoom, it's important you turn off the option and not allow students to change their name, because the name will appear on the attendance report as it appears in the meeting. So if students change their name during the meeting, you may not know who they are. So I'm going to change my name back to Yoav, my first name. And now you learn how to change your virtual setting, change your name, and also students can change their virtual setting and their name if you allow them to. One last thing is that typically in the meeting, you want student to be muted. Student can mute and unmute themselves, but let's say you hear a lot of disturbances. You can always click on participants, which will bring out this menu in the top right, and they can always choose to mute or unmute any of the participants. So for example, on the right-hand side, if my students is, if I want to turn student off, I can always press on mute, and now you can't hear me, and then I can unmute myself whenever I want to. A shortcut for doing that is you can press the mute button and press the space bar if you're using a laptop or computer, and that's going to unmute you. So now I'm going to mute myself, and when I press the space bar, it will temporarily unmute me as well. The final shortcut to unmute yourself is to press alternate A, and on Apple computer, Command A. So there are a variety of options here. Again, you can change the background. Now you can hear the demo student is connecting using audio as well. You can change the background. You can mute and unmute yourself. You can turn your video camera on and off. You can do it either by clicking on your picture and stopping the video and turn the video back on. Or as a shortcut, you can press alternate V, or Command V in an Apple computer. So in this tutorial, we'll learn some of the basic options in Zoom. I have many other tutorials on Zoom I'm going to put on YouTube, and you're welcome to listen to them. If you have any comments or questions, please put those questions or comments below in the comment section. And I also have a free course at 3lacademy.thintific.com, and I'm providing a link to that course below.